Our final topic in the setup section is folder permissions. Folder permissions limit access to folders and components on the Build tab. They allow production administrators the ability to assign and remove user roles from the selected folders. Users assigned to these roles have write access to the folder and its components. The folder permissions only allow write access to the folders and components available on the Build tab. Everyone is able to view the folder contents regardless of privilege. By default, folders do not have read-write restrictions and are assigned by the administrator. To have access, the user must have build, read, and write access to create or edit process shapes. On a per-folder basis, folder permissions are set. They are not inherited and allow users the ability to copy folders and components to another folder or account. Administrators use the folder permission dialog to assign and remove user roles from the selected folder. Users assigned these roles have write access to the folder and its components. The users must also have build, read, write access privileged to make sure they can design, build, and change processes and components on the build page. Users who are not administrators can open any folder's permissions dialog to see the folder assigned roles. Also, please note that is not displayed up here. Custom roles will also be defined as available roles. This slide displays a chart indicating what folder permissions are needed to perform folder actions. To copy a folder, you will need access to write to the folder, but not to its parent folders or subfolder. To rename a folder, you'll need write access to the folder as well as a parent folder, but not access to the subfolders. To copy a folder, you don't need access. To move a folder, you need access to the folder itself as well as requires access to the parent folder, but not to its subfolders. Now, to restore or delete a folder, you need access to everything. The ability to have access to the folder, its parent folder, as well as any subfolders. This chart displays the permissions needed to perform component actions. Everything except for copying a component, you need access to the folder. So to create, move, restore, and delete a component, you need access to the folder. To copy a component, you do not need access to the folder. So now what we're going to do is exercise number 7, assign the folder permissions. Beginning on page 16, we're going to assign our folder permissions. I'm in the Build tab, and I'm going to go down to where it says Administrator 1. I'm going to right-click on the little blue triangle, and the last item there is Permissions. This lists all my available roles, and what I can do is I can just highlight the roles that I want, such as Developer, Restricted Docs, and Data, and just click on the double arrow key to move it over. Now, in addition to this, we're also going to select the administrator role. And the reason why we're going to select the administrator role is in a later activity, we're going to need to come in here and edit the map, and we're going to be the administrator. So I'm just going to select this particular role and move it over as an allowable folder permission. You click on Save. Now, when I clicked on Save, one of the things that you can see is that the folder itself has a little person icon. That little person icon tells me that this is now restricted. It is your turn to do exercise number 7 to assign the folder permissions, beginning on page 16 and going to page 18. This will conclude the setup section of the administrator's task. What we'll be doing next is we'll be moving into the routine tasks, starting off with the deployment.